Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Create, Engage, Succeed show with Mary and my co-host,
Amadeus.
And today we are bringing to you from halfway across the world in Greece, my colleague, my gaming pal, Ramon. So, Ramon, please tell us a little bit about yourself and we'll get the party started.
Sure. First, thank you very much for this invitation. I really love to talk to you, and this is the first time that I know Amadeus. So I was like, what is the name?
It's not the first time someone's done that.
Okay, I like your name, by the way.
Thank you.
But anyway, I'm Ramón Talavera-Franco, and my background is I'm from Mexico City originally, but then I moved to the United States. And I had a wonderful opportunity to work for the University of Texas at Austin for several years. And being Mexican, basically, when you move to the United States, you want to accomplish, you want to have the dream. How you call it? The American dream.
Yes.
You want to have the American dream. And the American dream is to stay in America and to have the opportunity to work in America. So the good thing is that for many years I worked there. I had the opportunity to get my green card. And then I applied for my citizenship and I got my citizenship. So awesome. I accomplished my American dream. But then my American dream moved away to Athens, where I am now.
Wow, that's awesome.
So it's good. It's good because it's for family reasons. So I came here to Athens, Greece, and it's lovely. I invite everybody to come. I mean, it's so cheap to come to Athens right now. But anyways, if you have the opportunity, come to this country because it's lovely, it's beautiful, it has a lot of culture, and it's a paradise because it has a lot of islands, wonderful islands, where you can get inspired, where you can relax, and you can meet the culture. You can have a great taste of this culture, which is Athens, which is the music. The people is wonderful. The music you learn to dance Greek. So right now I'm like Sorba.
All right.
I know how to dance like Sorba, and the food is wonderful. So anyway, I'm having a blast, honestly, here in Athens. I don't know how long we are going to be here, but as long as we are here, I'm enjoying. So that's kind of part of my personal life. In my background as an instructional designer, I started, let's say that my journey, as I call it right now, as an e-learning, bilingual e-learning experience designer, started basically at the University of Texas at Austin, because I was working with the university to develop e-learning courses, bilingual e-learning courses for high school students.
Oh, cool.
So the University of Texas decided to help all the recent immigrants to continue their studies in the university, in the high schools in Texas. But we had a big problem. I mean, America has a big problem, which is when a kid from any other country come to study to the United States and the high schools receive the transcript, you don't know exactly how to translate the subjects that these students got in their country of origin. So what I had to do is, only in Mexico, we have like 360 different high school systems.
Wow.
And I have to match, of course, not myself, with subject matters. We have to match all the content of all those courses with the Texas knowledge skills.
Wow.
So it was humongous work. It was really wonderful. And from there, my boss decided to design a bilingual course of Algebra 1. in that course, it was really interesting to see how the teams from Mexico and the United States, the algebra experts, started to see how to put what the Texas knowledge and skills require, and that Mexico has already put them together and built one course, one binational course.
Wow,
And
that must have been
also,
amazing.
this course started in Spanish, teaching algebra in Spanish. And as the students move on, they started to learn a little bit of English and a little bit of more English and more English. So at the end of the course was supposed to not completely in English, but let's say 80% of the course was in English. So that was to help the students from Mexico to be able to study in America. And it was a wonderful project. I love that project and all the program itself. So as a bilingual learning experience designer, that was my first approach. It was really interesting. I learned a lot. I learned how to, well, you know, what an instructional design does, but basically I was coordinating all the teams. So it was really interesting. I love that job. And then I had a proposal to move to Pearson. And I had an instructional designer job for the high school courses to make the transition from the written courses to online courses of Spanish, teaching Spanish as a foreign language to put it into the e-learning models. So also that was really interesting, really good. And then that's when I moved to Athens. And at the time I moved to Athens, I was doing my doctoral program. So I decided, okay, this is a time that the universe is giving me to concentrate in my PhD, in my EDD, to really concentrate and to focus on it. So I finished the EDD, and then I move on into the freelance world of instructional designer.
Mm-hmm.
But as you know, and I'm learning, is humongous things that an instructional designer have to do.
Yes.
Especially when you are freelance. I didn't expect that. So anybody who's looking at this, who's watching this video and think, I'm going to be an instructional designer, I'm going to tell them, yes, but you have to learn a lot. A lot. It's a wonderful world of the instructional designers. It's really, you can do whatever you want. You can create many things. If you have a design in mind and you are very creative, that is a work for you. But of course, you have to do all the administrative and all the taxes and all the so many things that I'm still learning. I'm still learning on that.
Yeah, well, and you bring up a really good point, is that instructional design is more than just, the ADDIE process or, doing the analysis or, depending on where you work or who your client is, they may have already done the analysis for you and they just want you to design and deliver. I worked for several companies where we're just like, oh, we don't follow ADDIE. All we do is design and deliver. And so, and then there's all this software that you have to learn, which again, I've seen job descriptions with instructional designers that look for them to have Storyline, Captivate, Camtasia, Beyond, Unity, which is a game development software, which is a very different set of skills than a classic instructional designer. But because in many cases, as you've already explained in sharing your story, you may work with the team or you may be the one-stop shop.
Right. And everybody who is going to hire you expects sometimes that you know their tools.
Yes.
You are an instructional designer, so you know how to do this kind of storyboard. No. I understand the concept. I can create a storyboard according to the way I've done it, to the way I work with different companies. But all of a sudden said, it's a template. Just follow the template. Oh, okay, that's so easy. But sometimes the template has little glitches that you need to know how to work on those templates.
Mhm.
So you need training. So an instructional designer shouldn't be scared of saying, I don't know these templates. I need some training about these templates, and I'll be able to perform the important work, which is to design the storyboard.
Yes.
But sometimes people assume that you know everything. And no, because so many things that I've been discovering in this instructional design career that you never end.
Right.
Always you will face something different, something that is not what you expected. The way that I designed, for instance, my course for to teach articulated storyline 360 in Spanish for e-learning launch
Yes.
is not necessarily the way that you are going to design it for Udemy, that I already designed another course for Udemy. So it's different conceptual things, and the softwares, the platforms are not exactly the same. So you have to learn how to work in one platform and the other and in the other. So it's like, come on, it's too much.
Yeah,
But it's fascinating. I don't know. In your case, for instance, I don't know if you agree. What is your perspective in this?
Amadeus, why don't you go ahead and answer that one?
Well, we actually have a client right now that we're working with that is just like that, or I do, who, first day on the job was like, okay, yeah, instructional designer makes these storyboards and designs. I was like, okay, cool. So like this, and like, oh no, we design it following this template, and it's not related to anything else I've ever done. And they're like, yeah, so you just follow that. And I was like, but you're missing so much. What do you want me to put in there? And they're like, oh no, just you have to follow that template. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna have some calls if we're gonna work through that.
Exactly. And they assume that you know everything, and no way.
No.
Because really, I mean, people who are watching right now this video, probably people who experience, they must be like, yes,
Exactly.
and people without experience must be like,
yes, exactly. And then,
what
when
is going to
working
happen
with
in my life
clients,
right
it's
now?
like having to educate your clients. Like, yeah, the software's out there, but the software has limitations. And so just because you want it to do these 37 things for your budget, and that's the other part of it, it's like, if you have a $5,000 budget, I can build you a $50,000 course, but I'm not going to, because you have a $5,000 budget.
Exactly. And they want you to do magic sometimes.
Yes.
But it's those kind of challenges are really interesting.
Yes. And I think that's what keeps all of us in the field and coming back, because there is never a day that's like the other.
No.
Everything is different. And I think for most of the instructional designers that I know, and I'm going to include you in this as well, one of the things that makes us really good at what we do is we have that open, inquisitive, curious mind. So it's like, no, I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out.
Right.
Or I'll do something close enough to be like it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And give me some time, because also really we need to educate also our clients.
Exactly.
We need to educate them that we need some guidance sometimes to do exactly what they need us to do. We can do it. We just need some guidance. And sometimes if we don't know such and such a thing, well, we need a little of time to figure it out. It doesn't mean that we are dumb.
Yeah, it's
we
just
don't know a thing.
There's so many different softwares and tools. We're really good at instructional design. We know how to analyze. We know how to, design. We know how to get the best outcomes. Exactly. We just may not be familiar with the specific tool that your company uses or that you want us to use. Usually in a day or two, we could figure it out, but we need a little time.
And another thing is culture.
Yes.
The culture of the company and the culture of the instructional design and the client.
That is
Which
true.
means, in my case, I'm bilingual. Sometimes my tongue doesn't work, but I'm bilingual. And I'm bicultural because Mexico, the United States, I understand them perfectly.
Right.
But since I moved to Athens, this is another culture. So you cannot approach the people that lives in Athens like you approach a people in America or in Mexico. That's what I knew. Here in Athens, it's totally different culture. So for a person who is having this wonderful opportunity to work in other countries, also we need some time to understand what kind of culture I'm talking with. And you learn sometimes. Most of the time you learn as you work. Right now, for instance, I had a wonderful opportunity in India, but they also have another kind of culture.
Right.
So it takes time. It takes time to understand how to approach them and how to be in the same path. And of course, the language will always be a barrier if you don't speak it perfectly. So it's in my case, it's like I need to use all the skills that I have in order for me to understand and to be able to explain what I want. In those cases, for instance, in Greece, I don't speak Greek. I haven't been able to study Greek, so I'm really upfront with my friends and with everybody. Don't expect me to speak Greek because I don't.
Right.
But I speak English.
There you go. Well, I mean, this has been so cool listening to your perspective. I know we've only got about 10, 12 minutes left to the show. Amadeus had a couple questions that he wanted to ask, especially about the games that you're building. So Amadeus, take it away.
Sure. So yeah, going on to some questions. So what have you come across as being a bilingual creator with like your game designs, elements and stuff? What do you usually try and include with that when you're looking for, if you need to incorporate that kind of like bilingual experience, if you know you're building for two different audiences with the same kind of game?
That's a good question. The games that I have done so far, the first game is the title is let me translate it. Hel Cortázar. Cortázar is a writer from Argentina, and another name is Borges. Borges is from Argentina, two famous writers. So the title is Hel Cortázar, Escape from the Labyrinth of Borges.
That's awesome.
Because they both have written something about labyrinths. So in that case, my challenge was I'm going to teach literature to Spanish language learners. So I have to have this mentality, this big bicultural mentality, because if I teach it the way I would teach it only for Spanish speakers, they need a lot of feedback, and they need a lot of a community of practice. They need to communicate with people in order for them to really feel that their culture is accomplished. For the American people, you are more like individualist. It's an individualist culture. So Americans are used to work by themselves. They are very self-oriented. So you can play in a video game for hours and hours and hours and hours, and you are alone and you are happy. But of course, sometimes these video games, you are with people sharing your experience, and it's great. So what I had to do in order for me to accomplish this game was to take a little bit of the American culture and take a little bit of the Spanish culture and try to blend it, because this game also is going to be played for people living in Europe or in Russia or in Asia or whatever. It's a tool for people to learn, to improve their Spanish language. So I had to put that in mind. And for instance, in the second, in one of the other course, that is the one that I have in e-learning launch, that is how to teach articulate storyline 360 in Spanish. That was only focused on the Latin American culture. So, and of course I had to think about a game, a very easy game. I didn't think about too much in the cultural perspective, because it was me. I was talking there. So I was not afraid. I mean, who is going to learn articulate storyline 360 in Spanish? Latin American people. I mean, nobody else. So I had this focus in my mind. I knew how to do it. But the good thing, and what makes this course different to many others, is that I created as a game-based learning. So it has a story. It's not like when you study, get a course of storyline and it says, learn how to do the drag and drop, learn how to do text fields, and you get these isolated videos that you learn those skills, but then how do I put them together?
That's
I don't
true.
know.
Yeah, it's like, how do you?
I don't understand. And that's what happened to me. Because, oh yeah, I know how to do drag and drop, and then how am I going to do it, to put it in the next, how can I go to the next layer and the next scene, and then how am I going to do, well, whatever. So what I try to do is help the student from the very beginning. You know nothing, from the very beginning to branching scenarios. So they had to build their avatar, create an environment, create these objects that change the state of the object anytime you do certain action. Then you move to different scenes. Then, and finally, you go to a branching scenario where the student, you know, according to the choice, they have to go somewhere else. So that's what I decided to teach through a game.
I like it. I like it.
Fantastic.
So basically,
okay. Oh, sorry. So one more question that kind of relates to a difference in cultures. So we have, and I just mostly want to hear your thoughts on this. We have one particular client who doesn't like feedback on correct slides. He likes it on incorrect slides, but if you get something right, you just move forward. Have you seen that anywhere else, or is that just okay? That's what
no.
We've tried to tell them that too, and they're like, "This is the same person with the very particular templates," and they're like, "No, if they're correct, you just go." And we're like, "But are you sure about that?"
No way. You have to emphasize that it's a game, and a game or whatever learning experiences, they need feedback. If the learner doesn't get feedback, the learner doesn't know what to do. If they are okay, what happened? They need this reward. It's a reward stuff.
No, I'm just laughing. It's like we should just, clip this little piece and send it to Amadeus's client and just go, because this is like, because he asked me too, and I'm like, it just seems really weird. It's like, okay, I got it right, and now I move to the next scene in the game, and I'm just like, but
it's awful.
I don't know why I'm moving forward.
And I don't know even if I move forward.
Exactly.
Right. It's just a new slide, and you're like, did I do it right? Am I just here because I got everything wrong too much that you're telling me to go somewhere else?
Is there a glitch in the game?
And you have no idea. Exactly. And that is the reason, if you are creating a game, you need challenges and you need rewards, any kind of reward. So that's what I should tell my client. You want a game? You need this. You don't want a game? Then we can do a slideshow and that's it. But you need rewards. You need all that.
Yeah.
So-
I mean,
Okay.
even in just a standard e-learning course, you still need to know why you got something right.
Exactly. And it's very important for us to, as a learner, to know if I did right and wrong. And if I did wrong, what happened? So I need that feedback
Yes.
immediately. So I know, this was my mistake. Then I won't
Yes.
repeat it.
Or it's like, oh, I got it right. Great. I'm going to remember that versus, okay, I clicked a button and now the screen changed and I don't know why the screen changed.
Exactly.
Well, this
And-
this has been so much fun. We would love to have you back as a guest in the future.
Thank you very much.
We are almost out of time, but what are those last words of wisdom that you would like to share with the audience? And how can somebody get in touch with you if they'd like to either hire you as a client, or
Hire you as the
instructional-
client. I'd like to
hire
pay
you
you
as a
to-
client, hire you as an instructional designer, or maybe they have a question,
Sure.
something to follow up on this conversation. How can folks get in touch with you?
Well, I don't know if, can I just say my email or what?
Sure, if you want, and then we'll put it in the show notes too.
Okay, so you can find me at, I forgot my email. Can you imagine that? It's just that I have so many. That which one is the easiest?
Yeah, well, and that's why I
Okay.
figure you got to let us know which email you'd like people to reach you at.
Yeah, it's moocstream,
Okay.
moocstream at gmail.com.
Perfect.
That's the easy one.
Excellent.
moocstream at gmail.com. And of course,
Love
I
it.
would love to help anybody who needs some help, at least for information from my experience, or if a client wants this,
That's right. That's
Wonderful.
right.
who knows?
Well, and
Who knows, but yeah.
that's why we do this show, is to expose our audiences to people that they may not even know exist, like, a bilingual instructional designer. Whoa, I've got, and we occasionally have clients that ask us, can you do this? And it's like, sure. But then it's like, okay, now who do we tap
Let me
into our
see.
network that can help us with this?
Right.
So
So
what
that's
are, what are some last words of wisdom you'd like to share with the audience?
Keep learning. Keep learning every single day. If you are in the ID industry, keep reading, learning software, learning whatever comes to your mind, because it's right now there is so much information out there that you never finish. And if you have a question, well, you can find it. And if not, approach people like I did with you, Mary, and I really appreciate all your help. You have helped me a lot in this journey that I'm having. I have questions and Mary, what can I do?
That's what it's all about. It's we all help each other. And we met, for those of you that are watching and don't know the backstory, we were both in Mosin, who was our guest last time, EVI facilitator training. And, it took me forever to complete it. Ramon, I don't think you've completed it yet.
Okay, I
Neither has
haven't either.
Amadeus. Amadeus was a EVI dropout also. But it was great because we were able to just find a commonality and, just message each other back and forth on LinkedIn. And, we've stayed in touch now for over a year. And it's just like,
Yeah.
hey, got a question? Sure, I'm happy to answer it. If I don't know the answer, I'll point you to somebody else. And I think that's where the real success lies, whether you're a freelancer or working for a company. It's being willing to step out of your comfort zone and make those connections and help
Exactly.
people.
And that's so difficult. That is really difficult to make the connections. But you have to give the first step. Don't be afraid and be yourself. And be honest. You need some help, but also you have to give back. So
Right.
I always try to give something back.
And that's it's just like, you might not be able to help me with something, but I know that if somebody else comes to you, like the time I spent helping you answer your question, somebody else is going to come with a different question. You're going to spend that same kind of time helping them out. And that's what I really love about this community.
Exactly. So thank you very much, Mary, for inviting me, Amadeus. It was a pleasure to meet you. I
You as
love
well.
your I love your purple hair.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next time I'm going to do the same here.
Well, and with that, everyone, thank you for watching. This is the Create, Engage, Succeed Show. Signing off for now. This is Mary.
Amadeus.
And Ramon.
We'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.